There's Travis.
Hey, Doctor.
Hi, Travis.
Hey, Struve.
He's here.
Hello.
Hello. It's a full house there, huh?
Full house for 6:30.
Yeah. Well, I guess the meeting doesn't start till 6:30, so early, isn't it?
Right.
We just hanging out then.
We are trying to get Jeff's computer to notice that there's Wi-Fi here. Not to acknowledge that there's Wi-Fi.
I made a hose my computer just now. It wasn't showing the St. Ambrose guest, so I did this network reset thingy.
Oh.
And so anything, so I'm restarting the computer and it says, don't turn off your computer in Windows ready.
So the network update, that'll probably delete all of your saved Wi-Fis. So that's a bummer.
Yeah,
It's like your home Wi-Fi and wherever.
Well, it should be able to detect them once everything's all restarted, right?
I imagine so.
Just hope you didn't forget.
How was your trip, Robert?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Although the last leg of the trip, they made me check my carry-on bag at the gate. And then I get on the plane and I find that the overhead bins aren't even half full.
What a bummer. What a bummer.
So I checked my carry-on when I got home and nothing was missing, so. Anything new happened while I was gone, besides a new observatory foundation?
nothing I know
No, I don't think so.
of. I paid him for what they did.
I'm sure they appreciated that.
I think so. $35%, 72%, 92%, 100% complete. I still don't have an SAU guest.
I think they're saying it's just yes.
That's the one that said can't connect.
Try it now. Okay. All right. No, that's not, wait a minute. Okay, you ready?
Is that it right there?
Yes.
Okay, it says I'm connected.
Nice when computers actually work. Wonder. Ugh. I don't believe this. I still can't log into the podium computer.
Let me see if I can share. You know what, why is it,
Oh, hang on. Doesn't seem to let me let participants share screen as a default. And it should work now, yeah.
Hey, it's a local group.
it was?
Hi, John.
Hello.
You want to turn the volume down on Germany's roll out to that thing?
Let's see.
If you can't, you can't.
How's that?
Say something, John. Did you do the mic or did you do the speaker?
I did the speaker. I think. Well, wait. How do I
Still got you loud and clear.
speak?
I don't know who that was.
Speakers, headphones.
Hello.
How's that? Hey, somebody do a sound test, please.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
That was.
Hello.
Hello?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
What the?
Which store are you at?
Wait a minute. What? Hold on.
Okay, be right there.
All
We
right.
gotta figure out something with store stuff.
That does. All right. Oh. See what that does.
You have to get signs too again.
Hi.
Oh.
How are you?
Sam.
Well. Oh, hey, I know that guy.
Okay, so Randy, Robert.
Robert? Randy Sharp, nice to meet you. Good. Good.
Do we need a camera or are you just gonna use your laptop like we did the last time?
Well, we got the room speakers working,
Yeah,
so. I
Okay.
think we need it. Well,
the only use of the camera is that you can use your computer while the camera is actually pointing at the room, but if you don't,
I don't have
if you
such
don't
a,
care,
I don't have such a camera, and
any camera will work. Any webcam will do the same job.
I don't have a webcam. If there's a way I could hook up my phone, maybe use that.
Oh, no. No. That is definitely not worth it.
We can bring cameras next time.
I got a camera in my car. I brought it the last time. But I didn't. I waited in my car to see if the door was gonna open. I said, the door doesn't open, I'm not carrying all this crap in until I know. But, we can use a camera. I don't care.
Mitchell?
That's success.
Yeah, I knew where they were. I just didn't know they were staying down this level.
Oh. That's okay, they don't need to see me.
Yeah, but Jeff can be seen another way.
What's that?
You're already up there, so it's saying the camera to show everyone else.
Perfect. And I can turn off my backdrop, so if anybody sits behind me, we can get them. I'm moving pictures from the observatory relocation from my phone onto the computer, so we can show those. So Randy, what's up? Tell us about yourself
Well.
before people get here. Then if there's anything we don't want you to tell anybody else, then we'll let you know.
Well, it's been, I retired, what, in 2013, and used to do photography as a hobby, but I quit with kids and work and all that, so.
Life happens.
Life happened. So I took that back up and I enjoy wildlife, outdoor photography.
Hi, Alan.
So anyway, just,
Hello.
And
Cody.
strongly intrigues me, and I've seen some really neat pictures, so I thought I'd go another way to branch out my cameras. So,
Hello.
you guys don't mind?
You can sit back and get pictures.
Yeah, and we could probably get your cameras to work on that the club scope that we've got set up, so you don't even have to deal with that for a
I don't
while.
think it's all right.
Okay.
What did I do?
Yeah, I got,
Huh? What did I do? No, you didn't do something.
DSLR.
I'm just picking.
DSLR, yeah.
Robert, is your camera that you use out at Menke, is that a Canon?
yes.
So we've got the adapter for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
See all that, that's good.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Let me see if I can.
Anybody hear me?
Here.
Yeah,
Yep, I hear you.
Hi, Alan.
I'm pretty sure he can hear you, but he can't see you.
I don't hear anybody.
Do you hear
Hello?
me?
I see you, but I don't hear you.
Really?
Got yourself mute?
No, he's
I'm
not.
not sorry, I didn't get your name in.
Cody.
That's what I thought it was. You look different in the daylight.
Which microphone are you using? That one sitting there?
I'm using the, I don't know, just all I know is I got this, the Epson PJ going through this.
Yeah, but your microphone,
Oh, it's working over there, yeah.
Hang on.
I don't know what's going on here.
what my?
I don't know. Can anyone hear me now?
Volume all the way
Yeah,
up.
Robert,
I'm
we can hear you.
unmuted.
Oh,
Wait, can I hear you or
no.
can John,
We can hear you.
Travis, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yep, we can hear you.
So John and
Hear
Travis,
you loud and clear.
Can hear us. But not.
Alan? Alan can't hear us. I don't know why he.
It's probably on his side, he goes, yeah. The speed, something's wrong with
Oh.
yours. Try it, you got headphones, does he have headphones? I don't know. Yeah, wait a minute, I got an idea.
John looks a little
Oop,
too
he's
comfortable.
gone.
He's trying to call again.
If he does, I'll be ready.
I'm gonna go check the door again. This way.
How did you guys get in?
Call Jeff.
Oh, you called Jeff?
Yeah, we did. That's how we got in.
We had some students.
We broke the glass.
Oh,
We
okay.
broke the glass.
Dude, were you trying to come in this door?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Well, it's more convenient since it's right next to the parking lot and on the right floor. But obviously they're not gonna open that
Well,
one.
we
They
tried
want-
to come in the second floor, or the main floor, I guess, is out back,
Uh-huh.
and we couldn't get in there. So I noticed everybody was parked over here, so we pulled around over there, couldn't get in this door either.
Cecil's here.
I gotta check that door. I'm gonna check the main door right now.
Thank you. Did we get Ellen's audio fixed?
I don't know. I think it was fixing it.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yep, I
Okay.
can hear you.
Yeah, we can always hear you. You couldn't hear us.
All right, try.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know what gets into these computers. I didn't do anything different. I just logged off and logged back on again and it worked. I don't know why.
Yeah, mine's done that before too, on Zoom.
I'm not hearing over here on the big screen though, for some reason. Stuff's a mystery.
Cecil?
It's locked.
Yeah, we know.
There's upstairs one too. How many years have we been here? Like 4?
At least.
We're essentially some first group of.
Of course,
It's all Jeff's fault.
it is.
He thinks you're kidding, but you're serious.
I'm the one who sends the email reminders. I would hope they think I was serious.
How many times you sent it?
Once yesterday.
All I ask you, that's wrong. It takes 2.
I've been out of town since yesterday.
Oh, Jim is in.
Hi, Jim.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Jim.
Alan, can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can?
yep.
Hi, Jim. Yeah,
Hey,
I
Jeff,
hear
you're
you.
looking pretty relaxed there.
Yeah.
Got a cold drink there with you, Jim or John?
Bottle of whiskey.
Okay.
Got enough for the class? Don't think we're allowed alcoholic beverages just anywhere on campus.
I don't know. Does this qualify for campus? He's virtually on campus. You can only have a virtual beer, John.
He's having whiskey though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he can hear.
Yeah, he can.
Is he just choosing to ignore?
Yeah.
Or how much whiskey is he already drunk?
I did to get him.
They still don't fix the clocks. Are they ever gonna? They're just gonna wait till we go back on standard time.
Probably.
It's easier that way.
What do they do if, as they talk about legislature more than once, we go to permanent daylight savings time?
Yeah. Then they'll
Then they'll never be right.
probably switch them the wrong way.
So when they do change that, if they change that, what's gonna be the earliest it's gonna be dark out?
Well, 5 something. Dead of winter. January. Late December. Think of it, the date of earliest sunset is not the same as the date of latest sunrise. But I can never remember which one comes first. One is in early December, the other is in early January.
There are some states that are practicing that now, right? They don't change.
Yeah.
Arizona, for a while there, I imagine Hawaii doesn't either. And for a while there, a small piece of Indiana for some unknown reason.
I'm gonna see if I echo. Will I echo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna see if that would help people talking in the room, but it's not.
It's like somebody needs a cold bucket of water for them.
Is that Java the baker? John, smile. There it is.
Java the baker. I thought it was pizza the baker.
I'm afraid to have you tilt your camera down.
I thought it was pizza the baker.
Camera down.
That's a pretty
Be careful.
far-fetched stretch there. Pizza the Baker is Pizza the Hut from Spaceballs. It's Java the Hut from Star Wars. Yeah, so it's not Pizza the Baker.
And Java the baker from my city astronomical system.
Yeah, there you go. Java the Baker, Pizza the Baker. That was really hard to, unless you're familiar with both movies.
Well, that's how you grind a joke into the dirt.
There you. Who played Pizza Hut? That was Mel.
I'm gonna check the doors.
I don't
I'll
know
check
the voice on it.
On Pizza the Hut.
Pizza the Hut, yeah.
That was, what's his name? The guy who did all the stupid movies, Mel. Last name. You know what I'm talking about?
No. I saw a picture of it. I thought, you know.
Huh?
The actor?
Mel,
No, Gibson.
no, not Gibson, no.
Brooks.
Mel Brooks. There you go.
No, Brooks.
Yeah, he played, he was Pizza the Hut.
You still alive?
I think so.
Oh, there's somebody Smith's dying right now. ton of slopes done. So that,
The. What were the twins? John Candy was the.
or fall. Or, not here, mister, it's interstate.
Jim, were you trying to say something? You're on mute. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, I actually was telling Jan something.
Oh.
All good?
All good.
Well, Frankie there, aren't you?
Yeah, I was hoping that it would do something other than.
That's a good fun. Rusty's doing pretty well.
He's been getting too much sleep lately.
Not really.
He's just getting a sugar high.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it. Got the caffeine going, so. Jeff, when you look like that up on the screen, you look like you're seeing out in outer space.
Well, I am, dude. That's the virtual man.
Maybe we should add another board position, door person.
Thunderstorm during the evening. Oh, occasional showers overnight.
Might be a no.
Isn't most of that gonna be the southwest of here?
And Saturday night.
Oh, Saturday night.
I don't know where it's going Saturday night, but it.
Well, yeah.
Saturday to all the news
Well,
outlets.
actually, Friday, rain, thunderstorms. Saturday, rain, Sunday.
Saturday's
Our next public event, yes.
And Niagara.
no, that's it.
You get it.
Word.
Two of them.
I don't think it works anymore. Fine. I gotta go through the alphabet. I said, start with it.
It's like, well, that'd be motivating.
Oh, I don't think so. It sounds like stormy.
Good picnic last time.
Should we go for it?
Let's do it. So, our meeting's coming to order, as if it was in disorder before. Yeah, no.
Let's introduce Randy.
Oh, okay, let's introduce new members. Please, introduce yourself.
Randy Sharp, I'm from Muscatine, retired in 2013, and I guess looking for another hobby to pick up.
He needs a hobby.
Yeah.
Have you been to one of our,
This is the first meeting I've been here. My name's Cody. I'm from Dannenfeldt, and
with reselling me in this hobby.
And how did you find out about our club? Either of
Web search for me.
you, Byron.
Byron's neighbor.
Friend of a friend. Right. So, well, the way our meetings work is we first of all, we usually talk about recent public events or private events that we've held, a little discussion about how they went. And then we discuss upcoming events. And so just so we don't get too ahead of ourselves, we'll start off with recent events. And, oh, there's got someone else online, Adrian.
Hi, Adrian.
Can you hear us? Well, if you can hear us, Adrian, welcome to our meeting.
You can hear us wave. Yeah,
Hi, Adrian.
that doesn't count.
There's the-
There you go.
Can you hear us? Okay, good.
That's not working at all.
Can we hear you?
Yes, you can hear me.
Oh, you're not the one I want to hear.
We know we can hear you, Sean. Can we hear Adrian? Well, some sound must be coming through because her window lights up.
Yeah.
Lost Alan again.
He's having trouble.
Okay.
Adrian, say hi so that we can hear if your mic's working.
Hello?
Gotcha. Hello. Yep, it's working fine.
So.
Is this your first time coming to one of our meetings?
Yeah, it is.
She's new with a public event not too awful long ago.
Anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I hear you.
Yes.
I don't hear anybody. What's going on?
Hello? Can you hear us now?
He's been having trouble with his speakers all day.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me do this. Alan, see what that does. Or did I have to be sharing that for him to read it? Okay, well,
You can send him a message with the chat.
Someone has his number.
Well, we can hear it.
see how that works.
Cannot hear anything. Oh, ow. Try headphones.
He's gone again.
Silent.
Speakers.
Well, he'll get it.
Okay. But anyway, okay, so in the meantime, let's get down to business here. So let me share this real quick. Okay. So our club's last public night was July 23rd, and as I recall, that went pretty well. Weather was good. Got did some new people show up that night? Yep. Okay. And did they include the new members that you emailed me about?
They might have. I'd have to check.
Okay. And then July 30th was our big annual meteor shower party, which this year we moved to Menke Observatory. We normally have it at, for those of you who are new to the club, we normally had it at the Pleasant Valley High School. But our usual contact there was out of town at the time, so we weren't able to get access to the facility. So we moved to Menke, which frankly had its advantages because Menke is a darker site than the high school. Farther out of town, so as expected, we didn't get nearly the crowds we used to get at the high school. But we did get, I think we got at least a couple of dozen people show up. And some of them did see some meteors, among many other sites are available, and many of us came out, brought our own telescopes. And all in all, very successful night. And we raised pretty decent amount of, we were also raffling off a telescope, and we raised a pretty decent amount of money for that. Does anyone have any figures on exactly how much we raised?
I sent that to the treasurer, but I turned in.
Well, it was like $80. I think that's what
Was our profit?
was our profit. Yeah, 70 maybe. I don't know. It was not a whole lot, but it was at least we made some money better than giving the telescope away, right?
I spent about $70 in gas driving around, taking tickets to East Moline and to Silvis, to Milan.
Very generous donation.
It was very generous.
And then August 2nd, Jeff, you were hosting a daytime solar viewing at the Bicentennial Park.
Yeah, do you want to unshare? I don't have a whole lot of pictures, but for the next two items, I got just a couple
I can
pictures.
do that.
So this in the LDS youth group.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get out of that for. No, don't end the meeting. Just close up it.
Let's see. So yeah, the Bicentennial thing was like a meet and greet at the city of Riverdale, and like Mid-American Energy was there, and some government officials were there. The fire station put out all their fire trucks, and I didn't have a whole lot of people because I was kind of sitting on the end because and Cecil was there too, because we had to get out of the tree line so we could see the sun a little bit. But the mayor of Riverdale won the raffle. So that's him right there picking up his telescope at that event. So
Is that Dana behind you?
yeah, no.
No.
Oh, that's actually his wife. Now that I remember it, because they brought their little one in, and she was kind of acting a little squirrely, so she moved up to the side. That was that. How do I get out of this without signing out of this thing?
Stop sharing.
Do the next picture.
Yeah.
Do this. Still. The youth group, we're horrible at taking pictures of events. We had the meteor shower party, no pictures of that. We had that one in July, no pictures of that. We had between 60 and 70 kids at the next thing Dr. Bishop was going to talk about at the LDS event. And at the last minute, I just kind of shot a couple pictures. Here's a batch of them. They came in 3 batches, and we had them out looking at telescopes. John Baker had his refractor there, and Cecil was manning the 20-inch, and I was in the dome using the 14-inch. And I don't remember, was anybody else there that I'm forgetting? Jim was there directing traffic.
Yeah.
So we had between 60 and 70 people that we kind of broke into 3 groups and kind of shoved them around. So this is one of the groups.
So this was August 3rd, a church group contacted us asking for us to put on an event for their youth group.
So it kind of started out, I had the whole batch of them. I gave them a tour of the facility, starting with the new dome. And they looked in there and we talked about what the club was doing with the new gear and, you know, why the dome, why we use domes, and brought him over to Menke's roll off and showed him that big scope in there and showed him the roof rolling off and back so that they understood how that worked. And he explained, you know, why that was a good thing to have. Then we took them over to the new foundation so they could see where the new building was gonna go. And for some reason, they enjoyed that. I guess boys and dirt and digging holes, concrete is kind of exciting. So they kind of enjoyed that. And then I brought them over to the classroom 20 at a time while they were looking through the 20-inch and John's refractor. And I talked to them a little bit in the room there, a little bit about, you know, if they had any interest. Then we went in the 14-inch. And I don't remember whether, I think the skies were batched. I really couldn't see a whole lot other than the moon in between clouds. So most of it was just explaining how it worked, showing them the stellarium program. And a lot of them, you know, got pieces of paper and wrote down that so they could put it on their cell phones. So we gave them a few names of others. But it was a good event. They donated $150 to the club. That's pretty cool. Good. Let me see if I can unshare that. Oh, that's how that. Stop sharing. Okay.
Good. All right. And all right, upcoming events. The club has another public night scheduled for this Saturday. I'm not hearing good things about the weather forecast. Or it's not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's storming, and of course we'll call it off. And we'll send a cancellation notice on our Facebook page, and I'll copy it over to Ambrose Astronomy Facebook page, which then gets automatically sent to our Twitter account. So, and yes, we'll of course send out an email to all club members to let them know. And then the following Saturday, see, for those also those of us new to the club, our club puts on public events at Menke Observatory, and then St. Ambrose University sponsors public events at the same observatory. Ours is the following Saturday night on August 27th. And then our club has another one scheduled for September 3rd. And I suppose the main reason that they're being spaced so closely together this time is because of the big Eastern Iowa Star Party that's going to take up the entire weekend of the 23rd to 25th. So, this year it's going to be fairly low-key affair. This one is mainly for the professional amateur astronomers rather than for the general public. So, Chancellor R.
Okay, on the Eastern Iowa Star Party, yeah, it's amateurs, astronomers, and any professionals. So that means if you just bought your first telescope today, you're welcome to join us. If you're somebody that just wants to come in and look through some telescopes, that's what our public events are for. So September 23rd, 24th, and 5th. If you don't even own a telescope yet, but you're seriously wanting to get something, you're welcome to come to the event and check it all out. So again, this isn't like just kind of people coming to look at stuff. A lot of club members will be doing imaging, some will be doing viewing. I don't think I'm going to do any imaging this year. I think I'm going to set up my telescope for the first time in like 4 years and do some visual to it. Robert, you might be doing some imaging through the 14th, if I remember you made some comments about it.
I could do some. I'm very much a novice when it comes to astrophotography, but I do dabble sometimes.
So Randy, if you wanted to go to that, there's no charge to it this year. He'll have a DSLR hooked up to the 14-inch SCP. You can kind of see how that works.
That we are going to be gone.
That's right, you did mention that, yeah.
Otherwise, I would definitely talk to that.
2 scoops.
Right now, I've got 17 people that said they're going to go to EISP this year, and 2 other verbals. So it's not a lot of people yet. I think our largest one, we had 64.
Yes.
So this is again back to kind of building up after COVID. So
We're hoping to eventually build it back up to the point where we could bring in guest speakers to. Now that we have internet out there, we like to Skype some.
I got another of that I was gonna bring up if we're done with EISP.
Go ahead.
See if they'll let me share again.
Yeah, let me get off of
I
this.
think it's like-
Yep, there you are.
Okay, I think I put this on Facebook, and I don't know why my screen isn't disappearing. I've got my taskbar is set to disappear, it's just not doing it. So anyway, this event here, I saw this, I go to this little Cafe Express in Davenport on Locust Street, I like their sandwiches. So on their Facebook page, they sent out this thing, and that's just different vendors and stuff gonna be out in Walcott. And I thought that might be a cool place to go, being we set up the Wilton School Systems Observatory, and we got Dixon. So I was just thinking, you know, if a few of us brought some solar telescopes and set it up there, because it's during the day. So you can see it toward the bottom, October 22nd, 23rd. It's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday and 10 to 2 on Sunday. So I think I might just go there anyway, but I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to do, to set up a couple of telescopes and get our name out there. Again, Wilton's Observatory, they probably got $250,000 into it that was donated. And I would sure like to tap into some of these small towns that, especially farm communities, that might have people that want to invest, because we could sure use another $50,000 to $70,000 for our project. So anyway, if so anybody's so inclined to attend that thing with me, I'll make the contact with these folks and ask them if they mind if we bring telescopes. But I'll bring my normal rig of 2 telescopes out there for solar viewing. So anyway, okay. I think that's all right.
Any questions on our public events? On any of our events? First, Norfolk Online, which now includes Mike Dannenfeldt. Hi, Mike.
Hello. How we doing?
We're doing.
None of us know how.
I got some companies. Patty's sister-in-law is here from Indianapolis overnight as she's traveling cross country. It was one of her stops, so I'll be in and out of the meeting here maybe a little bit.
Okay.
So next on the agenda, has anybody bought any new gear recently?
This Saturday's event's predicted to be rained out, so somebody must have.
Only Jeff does that.
Cecil this time.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I've already got kicked off at my $500 plus paperweight SkyQuest. Yeah, I was out with Jeff in Riverdale. We had about 40 minutes of viewing, and I got 0 viewing. Solar Quest I have, couldn't find the sun, it's like depended on it. And when I would get close, it wasn't solid. So it's supposed to, the maximum weight is 11 pounds. What I'm using is not 11 pounds. Probably 10 pounds, but it's not 11 pounds. And unfortunately, there is this kind of unspoken code that says when you have a mount of some sort, they can tell you whatever maximum weight is, but what they really mean is 60 to 70%. So it's not functioning well. So the next clear day I get, I'm going to try to use it with my my 90 millimeter refractor, and if I can get it to work with that, I'll keep it for white light observing. But what I bought from Orion is an aldazimuth mount. The aldazimuth mount, top axis is actually like 45 degrees. And so if the telescope goes in, it won't come in. If So I'll put my 100mm solar telescope on there. That way, you don't have a problem. I mean, and let's face it, it's not difficult to find the sun.
Is it a manual or a go-to?
Oh, it's manual. Oh, I mean, what do you need to go to for the sun, mate? Really? I mean, it's nice to
Well,
have.
you would a SkyQuest.
I know, and yeah, but it would be nice, and then once you got the sun, it would actually follow it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's not terribly difficult, so that's a piece of equipment I got. And if I can't get the SkyQuest to work, hopefully I can send it in.
Well, maybe it won't rank too bad since it's manual and it's not a go-to. If it was a go-to, it would probably be massive storming, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's the last piece of equipment I've got. But I haven't had a chance to try it out because it's been cloudy last.
Any other new gear recently bought?
Storming that long time.
I bought a finder scope shoe to put my Explore Scientific finder scope on my Lunt telescope. But the Lunt has got holes that are up and down the tube, and the finder scope shoe has got it across the tube. So now I need to figure out if somebody like Rusty can rig up a little thing so I can screw a plate into the Lunt and 2 screws to the finder scope shoe, so my finder scope will fit.
Yeah, just more 2 holes in the shoe.
No, oh, no, the way they got it designed, the 2 screws to hold it in, they're right on the edge, so it's not wide enough to have any screws. It's solid covered. So it's got the 2 screws, but inside, then you can't slide it in the finder scope.
Will you taper cut it?
What?
You like a taper drill?
Could do that, but I don't think the metal's thick enough. You could try it maybe. Because it's, you know, if you've seen one of those shoes, it's really not very thick. I think they're aluminum. So. No.
JD Wells.
I thought about duct tape. No, I'm kind of upset with Lunt because, you know, they could have done a little bit better with telling you how to put a finder scope. They got this big fancy day-night telescope for all this money where they get 2 back ends for it. But they haven't showed any pictures of anybody using it at night or pictures of what it takes at night. It's a triplet. Nor do they show a picture of anybody with a finder scope on it. And I think it's kind of hard to find stuff at night without a finder scope. Maybe people play solve.
Don't they sell a shoe for it?
Huh. It's they said to me after I got the shoe is that they use the universal shoe will fit on there, but Explore Scientific, their finder scope holder will fit in that. And I want to use that because I've got 4 finder scopes, all Explore Scientific finder scopes. I don't want to buy another finder scope.
Well, when they say universal, they mean a universe long ago and far away.
So anyway, so we'll figure out somebody that can rig up something like that. But I bought it.
Oh, you just have to get like so when you get it, you router or something and carve out the bottom part is what sits on it too. Screw that in there, and if you screw the shoe onto that.
I gotta have it anodized black. Real look pretty, you know.
That's what black spray paints.
No, after I drop the scope, that's when we can use the barbed wire and the duct tape and, you know.
Rusty will make it's like his head, it'll make your telescope great.
Yeah.
Yep. Manufactured one.
Now, can you actually, I mean, those 2 holes, can you actually screw something in those 2 holes?
Yeah, they're threaded.
Okay.
They put them in there for that reason apparently.
They just don't make a mounting bracket for it.
They just don't make a mounting back for
Or
it.
they sell you the screws for it?
No, the screw part is in the price. So I don't remember if I paid like $8,000 for that telescope, but you would think that they could give you a little piece of metal.
We expect for 8,000.
I know. You give me a little piece of,
Should be
$3
a style
metal.
washer for half that price. You'd be fine.
I know, you would think that was built by the government.
You're getting screwed one way. or the other.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Rolando.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Alright, next on the agenda, anybody looking to sell any gear?
I got a solar quest for sale. You're cheap,
What's your asking price?
about $300.
Does it come with boat anchor rope?
Yeah. I mean, they cost over $500, like $550 or something. It's also, right, flat. I got a feeling it will work on with a smaller scope.
Like maybe a 35 millimeter one.
I've got them all.
EST, you know, EST.
I got that. Got that down. Cube.
Oh, that's right. You get a cube. I got a cube.
It worked perfect. It goes almost goes right to it. Tracks it fine.
I had to bring I forgot that I even got that. I didn't remember for you to check out. Cube. The very first, when it first came out, I have kind of.
Look at that. It's blue.
No, it's gray.
Baker is sitting straight up now.
I woke up.
Oh. His alarm must went off.
Now, I think he's laying down, and that's just a backdrop.
Just that green screen back behind the.
Okay.
Anyway, anyone else? Let's move on to tonight's presentation. Jeff Struve is going to give us one. I'll let him.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that we could start doing some presentations again. So being one of those that needs to, if I'm gonna ask for people to do it, I need to do some myself. It's been a long time since I gave one. So anyway, I forgot on Science Friday on public radio, some lady was talking about the local group. And I came in like on the last 2 sentences of what she said before something else was going on. So I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. So anyway, I thought, well, okay, that sounds interesting. So I know nothing about the local group. So I thought, okay, this is a good time I can learn a little bit about the local group. And so I
put the lights out.
Sure, if you like. Otherwise,
Are we not the local group?
we are the local group.
We are in the local group.
So normally when I put together a presentation, I don't like to write on the screen what I'm going to say verbatim. But in this case, since I don't know what I'm talking about, I put everything on the screen verbatim. So the local group was something that Eddie Hubble came up with, and it started writing about in 1936 in that book in the bottom right-hand corner. And he says it's a typical small group of nebulae and blah, blah, blah. But it does include M31, which is what? Andromeda?
Andromeda.
Milky Way. M33 is what?
Triangular.
Excellent, yeah. And then large and small Magellanic clouds, and then these other objects, M32, NGC 205, etc. And so he kind of talked about those. He also said, made a comment, they thought IC10 was part of it, maybe. So anyway, it's generally considered the galaxy group that includes the Milky Way, Andromeda Galaxy, and Triangular Galaxy. So the Milky Way has got its own little batch of satellite clusters, and so does Andromeda. I don't know that the Triangle does it all. Let me see if I can find the button to press the next screen. Okay. So there's Andromeda top left, Triangle bottom left, and of course the rendition of what our Milky Way would look like, and the associated main satellite. Kind of see the little guy right here. What is that? Yeah.
I think that's M32.
Remember that one? M32? Yeah, exactly. So usually when we take pictures of Andromeda, we get all three of those in there. It also includes NGC 147 and 185. They're actually part of the Andromeda satellite system. Believe it or not. And I'll talk about that a little bit later too. But so there's the local group right there. And you can see here's the Milky Way and some associated objects. There's Andromeda and some associated objects around here. And the Triangle Galaxy is right here. So that's what the group kind of looks like. So when we talk about a local group, it's kind of that block of the area. So
before you go further, the Magellanic clouds,
yes,
are actually galaxies?
no.
Yes.
No, are they?
Yeah, they're small, they're irregular galaxies.
Because the group doesn't, it's not just galaxies, I don't think. I think it includes multiple objects.
But I think in this case they are, but
In this case, they are, yeah.
for some reason, I always picture in my head that the Magellanic Cloud were just like big globular clusters within the Milky Way, but they're not, I guess. huh?
No, they're separate from the Milky Way. They're a lot smaller than the Milky Way, and they're part of our galaxy satellite group.
Okay.
So also the Pegasus is a dwarf galaxy apparently. But the thing is that kind of looks kind of poofy, and I think that's questionable too. Is Pegasus part of ours or is Andromeda? I think it's part of Andromeda's.
Oh, well,
Anyway,
I need the full list of it.
yeah, that's in here along with the full list of what 100 things.
Yeah.
So anyway, Milky Way and Andromeda are 800 kiloparsecs.
Kiloparsecs.
Thank you. And they're moving together. And that bottom middle picture kind of shows what they are looking like. There's a better YouTube video that continues past where this one shows, and it almost looks like Triangle eventually someday is going to kind of join the three. So maybe that's part of what it means to be a local group. Let's see. It says here at least 80 members are known to be part of our local group. Most of them are dwarf galaxies. There's a whole lot of them we call unknown things. And of course, Andromeda and Milky Way are spiral, and they're the largest ones. And
Well, we should too say, from what I've heard, is when the two galaxies collide, the stars won't touch each other. So it's not like the stars are gonna crash into each other.
Actually, if you'll permit me, there is analogy that I often give my students when they're asked about that. So, like say these two objects are the size of your average galaxy in the average galaxy. So in your average galaxy group to the same scale, they'd be roughly about this far apart. So it's a small chance, but yeah, collisions are fine. And then I say, suppose these are both the size of the average star in each of these galaxies. To that same scale, their average separation would be like having this star here and this one in Omaha. So what do you think of the chances of those two things colliding with each other?
What about the planets?
Same deal. Planets, they wouldn't even notice the two galaxies colliding with each other. Stars, they orbit so far apart that
So it's just gonna go right through it.
exactly, it's more like the galaxies going right through each other.
But eventually they merge.
Because their combined gravity distorts them and then pulls them back together in and in.
so it's kind of like binary star systems on a grand scale.
Yeah.
Except for, I think they're going to merge more so than come together and blow up.
Right, yeah, they'll
But I
eventually
mean, eventually they're going to be there. So
merge together, yeah, like kind of, you're seeing the start of it in that animation there.
That's like a gazillion years away.
No.
Only a few billion.
Yeah.
Want to come up here? Come on. Sorry.
Actually,
We can calculate it.
If the sun
You have to go.
dies in 4 billion years,
You have to go outside.
we won't even,
Come on, go outside.
we wouldn't even know what that happened.
Outside.
things will look different.
It will be dark.
The Milky Way sure look different from here on Earth.
Oh,
Basically, both galaxies will turn from two separate spirals into one big elliptical galaxy.
so can they calculate what the shape is gonna be based on the motion, or is it a guess?
All they know is that the gravitational forces will pretty much randomize most of the orbits of the stars in each galaxy, which is basically what an elliptical galaxy is.
So yeah, no spiral then.
Right, yeah.
I doubt many people will be around to prove the theory though.
Yeah.
So anyway, our local group is part of a larger group called the Virgo supercluster, and that's kind of a picture of it there. And you can see here's our local group right here. And that they believe is part of, how do you say it? Laniakea?
Laniakea.
Laniakea supercluster. So our clusters, our group is part of a group, is part of a group. That's pretty cool. So the Milky Way satellite galaxies are as follows. Sagittarius, as you can see, most of them are dwarfs. Largest small clouds, Canis Major is a dwarf. Some are arguing whether or not that's even a galaxy. You can see kind of the list of all the main galaxies, dwarf galaxies, Leo 1 and 2. And there's several other objects apparently.
Okay, so before we continue, let me interject. Are the names derived from the fact that you're looking in that direction when you see the galaxy? Because I thought all of those constellations that you're mentioning there are part of our galaxy, right? Like Sagittarius is part of our galaxy. So is Draco and Sextans. These are all
these are all galaxies
that belong to the Milky Way.
Right.
But the galaxies that he's talking about there, it's the galaxy that you see when you're looking in that direction, I'm assuming, right?
The constellation, the name just tells you the direction you have to look
Okay,
into
okay.
in order to
Get
see
it.
that
So
galaxy.
this kind of shows what you're talking about. This next slide, the Milky Way is in the center, and in relationship, these other objects that we just talked about, this is where they're kind of located. So you can see like Ursa Major 1 is like at 1 o'clock-ish. And Sculptor is kind of like at 6 p.m. That's kind of how they're located. And this is a little different view of it. It's hard to read on here. It's hard to read in person on my screen too. But this also shows the MGC objects and the Messier objects and miscellaneous that are kind of around there. So I thought it was kind of a pretty picture. And I put two of them because Andromeda is not so nice to deal with. And I'm not really sure why, because I did a lot of Googling. I bet you I spent 2 hours trying to find a blow up of Andromeda with its satellite galaxies. There's none out there anywhere. So this is kind of the list of the major ones. And you can see there's Andromeda 1. And if you look at the bottom, what is that, Andromeda 22?
22.
Well, I believe there's an Andromeda 40 something when I was looking at Stellarium. So it's just certain ones. And I think going to Stellarium to try to find these things, I kind of think that maybe some of them are just absolutely so far away from Andromeda that it wouldn't make sense to try to put it in a picture. So as you can see, here's NGC 185 and 147 right here. And Andromeda is here. And they're actually part of Andromeda satellites. Now I mentioned that Pegasus gallery, and this is about 1/3 of the way to wherever the Pegasus dwarf galaxy is. So if you keep on going 2 more times this far, so maybe that's why there's no picture that I could find. So you can see some of these. Oops, back again.
Does this mean that those objects, whether they're dwarf galaxies or something else, are they gravitationally attached to Andromeda or the Milky Way? Or are they just close?
Actually, there was some dispute a little while back about whether the Magellanic Clouds were gravitationally bound or just making a close pass. I think they're pretty sure they're gravitationally bound. But yeah, I mean, it's possible that some of these are just making close passes by the either Milky Way or Andromeda, and that they're just kind of like independent members of our local group.
So
It's possible.
They're just within a close distance. So you could say that it's close to Andromeda. They're saying it's part of that group. Whereas, let's say that the Magellanic Clouds are part of the Andromeda group because they're closer to the Milky Way.
I will say that it's difficult to measure the complete space velocity of a galaxy. I mean, it's much easier to measure the component of that velocity that's either coming directly toward us or away from us than it is to measure what the component that's across our line of sight. So it's very difficult to get the complete velocity. So it's therefore very difficult to tell exactly which way it's going and how fast. And that plays a part in telling you whether or not it is actually in orbit around something or just passing by.
Okay, and so the bottom left, most of us taken pictures of the triangle of galaxy. I did not take any of these, but that is it. And then the dwarf galaxies, these are the ones at Pisces. And I thought they were just kind of cool to have something that they're talking about. I don't know if we can image those. I thought I would give it a shot at some time. They're pretty faint, but a scope like in the Menke dome, being on a pier where you could, hone in on something for a long period of time, might be able to image that. That would be kind of fun. Let's see, then membership of NGC 3109 and its companions, sections A and dwarf galaxy. It says it is uncertain due to extreme distances from the center of the local group. And that's why I was saying about Andromeda. I think that's why there's not a picture somewhere just so far away. But there's a lot of them. This says, in regards to what Cecil was saying, it says the other members of the group are likely gravitationally secluded from these large subgroups. So some of them are, some of them aren't. I don't think that they really know 100% for sure. So welcome, bright light. So here's a list of all what they consider in our local group. In the Andromeda Galaxy, the Milky Way Galaxy, the Triangle Galaxy are the three main ones. And then we've got the clouds, of course, and elliptical galaxy. Now here's gobs of other things. I've got it. These are dwarf elliptical, dwarf spheroidal.
Spheroidal.
So there's a ton of them on the very bottom. Identification unclear, but there's pages of these things. And I've got them sorted by where they're located at. So like this batch right here is in Carina. Here's in Cassiopeia.
So what's the difference between a spheroidal galaxy and an globular cluster?
One's a cluster, one's a galaxy.
I mean,
It's a very good question. Just by looking, it might be difficult to tell.
because a good globular cluster will have what, 100,000 stars?
Oh, I have more than that.
I mean,
Up to
or
a
more than
million,
that.
yeah.
And why wouldn't you consider that to be a galaxy?
Maybe because of the core difference.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I heard
This intelligent group.
I heard once that the one difference is that a galaxy has dark matter in it and a globular cluster doesn't.
But you can't see the dark matter.
No, but you can see its effects on the visible matter. Except that very recently, they've started detecting some galaxies that don't appear to have any dark matter to them. So the dividing line is becoming blurred again.
So, do all galaxies contain a black hole at their center by chance? Like ours does and others do.
All the major ones, yes.
All the major ones. So would that be a big difference? Like a globular cluster doesn't have a black hole in the center, or we don't know?
There's some ideas that a globular cluster may have an intermediate sized black hole at its center as opposed to a supermassive one.
But you should,
But
you should see the effects of the black hole in the cluster.
yes.
Could a difference between the galaxy and the star cluster be, when you look at through our telescope, when you look at a galaxy, you can tell it's a galaxy versus when you look at a cluster, you know it's a cluster. And that would mean to me, maybe it's the way they were formed to determine what they are. Because when I look at M51, you see spirals. When you look at the triangle, you see spirals. When you look at Andromeda, you see spirals. I've never seen a picture of a star cluster that had spirals.
Yeah, but that's what Cecil is saying.
Yeah.
The spheroidal galaxies do not have arms. They're just the big glob of stars.
The ellipticals don't have.
Like the Magellanic Cloud.
Well,
They don't have arms. So
I don't know. Does it depend on what angle you're looking at them, whether they do or not?
I don't know. Are clusters young galaxies?
Or is it the same people that determine a spheroidal galaxy is globular star cluster are the same people that say Pluto is a minor planet?
Well, not necessarily. Some of the stars on globular clusters are older than some of the galaxies.
I don't know. I'm just curious. I don't know.
So anyway, that is all.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah, it was fun to kind of do it, you guys, there's really nothing to put together kind of a presentation. If you don't want to do a PowerPoint, you can send me your information. I'll put it in a PowerPoint for you. So for the new people, sometimes we do stuff like this for presentations. Other times, Sam, you and I kind of, Tim, we did one on electronic focusers. We've done them before on imaging. We've had people come and talk about how to use different applications for processing pictures. We had a demonstration on different types of telescopes. So, there's all kinds of different stuff that we talk about here. So it's not all hard science or, conjecture type of stuff. We had a talk on a missile base with missiles. We've had it on, what is the crater part?
Meteor crater.
Yeah, we had two on
Arizona.
In Arizona, yeah. So there's all kinds of different, so if you got something fun you'd like to share, and we'd love to have some good presentations, people talking about fun stuff.
We've also had a few members, they've given basically slideshows of vacations or field trips they took to someplace with astronomical homes.
Yeah, I did one on Prairie Sky Star Party. I did one with the David Levy Star Party. So on all those events. We had one where a video played for exoplanets. I did one on exoplanet detection, how to do that with your DSLR. I did one on doing spectroscopy with a camera. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. We can revisit some of those too. So if anybody gets interested in those, we can bring those back. So.
Or somebody can suggest something that they would like to learn about, and somebody else can do the research.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, so if you've got ideas about something, like if you wanted one on how do I hook up my Canon DSLR onto a spectroscopy telescope, perfect one. Or comparing EQ mounts and all as mounts for visual and for imaging. Comparing EAA like Rusty does and Byron does. So to a regular visual astronomy. So.
All right. Brace yourselves.
We got the sunglasses.
And there was
I remember long time ago, I saw this in a Reader's Digest. And it was actually on the bathroom toilet wall at my car. And it said, and God said, and then somebody wrote like equation for the spin of an electron or whatever part that throws off a proton. And then it says, and then there was light. I thought that was pretty, I like it. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Right. It's interesting. Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions for Jeff or the rest of us who probably didn't mind us butting in? Going once, going twice, going twice and a half. Then next item on our agenda, the treasurer's report. For that, I ask our treasurer, Sam Santiago. Give him a minute to cook the books.
I do have to cook the books because we took some money out to do the foundation for the roll off. And I entered the amount that we took out in here, but it took it from the overall total, but it didn't take it from the observatory relocation balance. So right now, it's all mixed together. I mean, if you don't mind.
You want to play with that? We'll go on and come back.
Yeah, we can do that.
We'll table the treasurer's report for the moment and go on to the next item, which actually talk about the foundation. The next item is updates on our observatory expansion project. And I understand it's quite a bit of work while I was away for a couple of weeks. Somebody want to give us some details on that?
So I've been collecting pictures and Randy, have you been out to the observatory?
I have not.
Okay, so this is the west side of the building. This is the classroom. And this is the dome where we've got a 14-inch SCP. And this building back here is a roll-off building, and we've got a 20-inch Newtonian in there. And back here, right back in here to the right a little bit more, we've got another dome. And how big is that Newtonian? Is that's a 12-inch, right, Dr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Yeah, we got a 12-inch Newtonian there. So that was part of our observatory relocation. And what that means, we're moving our telescopes from our old Sherman Park Observatory to Menke Observatory because we thought it was kind of silly having two so close. And we worked so close with St. Ambrose doing their events and helping out and all that, that it made sense for us to move here. And there's some synergies in that St. Ambrose has got a facilities department that can take care of buildings. And we don't like taking care of buildings. We don't like doing roofing. We don't like doing plumbing. We don't like doing, roofing and all that stuff. And in return, we do like working on telescope stuff. So we maintain their electronics and their telescopes. So we do their telescope work. They do our yard work and fix the buildings. So this building we're just putting up now is a 24 by 30 roll-off building. And I'll kind of go through some of the pictures. I saw an arrow over here, which maybe that means I can scroll through them. But in that building, we're hoping to put Cecil's 30-inch knob, which is, when we get it mounted in there like that, it would be very cool to roll off the roof and have a 30-inch Newtonian sitting there we can just climb up and use. And we're also planning on putting, Jim, what is that? That is a 7-inch F8.5 triplet?
7-inch F8. And then it also has a reducer corrector that will take it down to about F, primarily for photographic use.
So in this building, when it's done, there'll be that 30-inch Newtonian and that 7-inch astrophysics triplet. And hopefully, we'll be able to get that triplet set up like I have Wilton, where we'll be able to remote into the building, open the roof from home, slew the scope around an image, share stuff with people. And so, we get one of those events where there's a 2-minute thing happening at 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Who wants to go out there and do work? Nobody. So somebody can set it home and program the thing to do it.
So when did we acquire the astrophysics?
We've got it kind of on hold. We're short a little bit of money to get it yet. But the way it's going to work is if we don't have a contractor secured by, I think it's October 15th, we're going to go ahead and buy the telescope. And then we'll continue to fundraise and as we look for a contractor to build the building. Because we don't want to let the telescope get by us. It's too good of a buy.
Is it brand new?
No.
Okay.
No. No, we couldn't afford a brand new. Just.
They don't even make them anymore.
Well,
Not that size.
Not that one, but who knows when they come back.
Any estimate?
I'm pretty sure that galaxies will probably be joined before they come back with that telescope.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
Any estimate as to when the building
We don't have a contractor. We can't find anybody to build it. We've been working years ago with a guy by the name of Scott Wordsman, and he sent us some plans for stuff, and he worked with us real good. Then he disappeared. So I've been on Facebook. I've left messages. Jim's left messages. I've contacted other people that claim they know him, and he's just kind of disappeared from the face of the earth. But I'll just kind of scroll through some of these pictures.
Is that the frost footing that we're seeing there?
Yeah, if I can, how do I get rid of this thing?
The footing is what the walls are sitting on.
Right there.
That was poured first.
That's the footing. Yeah, that's the footing right here. And that goes down, how far did we go? Did we go 42 inches with that? Do you remember?
The walls are 4 foot. And so, I mean, the walls are sticking out, but we're probably, I'd say maybe 42 inches to the top of that footing. And then that footing's got to be at least 4 or 5 inches deep.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good building. It's not going to move on us. It's rough work doing concrete work. I did that for 1 year with Triver Construction back when I was young. Not a fun thing to do. A little bit better picture.
And see, when they put that frost footing in, they put the 2x4s in there, probably 10 or 12 inches wide, because the wall's 8-inch, if you go back and you can see that. And then see Dr. Mitchell, when they put that in there with the 2x4s, they got a laser so that that thing is perfectly level, because that's the start of any building, is that footing to be level for a house or this building or whatever. That is the backbone that starts the whole thing, and that's got to all be shot in. Old style was with a transit and a level stick, and now they got the fancy lasers, and it makes sounds when you get to a certain level, and that's where you level the footings, the very first thing that was poured, and then you set the walls on top of that. Basic house construction.
And then they started re-siding the classroom and the roll-off. So this is the classroom to the right with the dome, to the left, the old roll-off building. And in the process, they kind of hit one of our electrical outlets, but I think they've got that fixed now. There's the new dome back there. I shouldn't say a new, but we moved this one over from Sherman Park. And we're going to build a lean-to structure here. And that'll be kind of like a little control room where you can put a computer and be in there and keep away from your telescope. So there'll be another little building right here attached.
We will have to cut a new doorway on
doorway,
the side,
yeah.
or access side.
Removing the siding off the old the classroom.
Also, from Jim Hansen, we want to make sure when we side the new building, we'll be using the same vinyl siding that they put on the classroom and the Menke roll-off, so that all three buildings all look uniform and matched, and it'll look real professional.
That'll be great. It'd be cool if we could confiscate some of it for our little lean-to building too. That's so small, no one will ever notice, but maybe there'll be some off-cut pieces that we can grab up that will work. I think, isn't it only gonna be like 4 by 12 or something like that? So it's not very big.
Yeah.
Just to roll off, do a little bit of work there.
Oh,
I'll back up.
yeah, go back to one thing that this section here, it used to fold downward. So you basically open up part of this back wall. This dates back to when we had a 14-inch telescope in here on the south end of this building that we had a really low pier. So they had to open up this wall in order to be able to see the southern horizon. The thing is, that thing was only held in place by basically just one long locking bar, like you used to have in medieval castles. Once you took that off, there was nothing holding that up. So if you weren't careful, then they could swing down and crack your skull over. So basically, we stopped doing that years and years ago. And when I was out there, I told Jim Hannon we don't do that anymore. So he could just seal that thing up permanently. And indeed, he said that would make it so much easier doing the siding on that side. So
Cool. Foundation, that's the wall. Yeah. Did I start, did this just start over?
Yep.
Must have been. Oh, no.
no, these are different.
There's some kind of duplicate issues in there. Classroom. Looks nice though.
Yes, yeah, very nice.
Down there. Okay, that's it.
Does that come out of your astronomy budget?
Out of our department's budget, I honestly don't know. I'd have to ask Jim about the specifics.
That mean you're broke? Department is
I hope
not broke. No new equipment.
Believe the department was broke. Our department chair would have emailed me immediately.
Yeah, I would imagine there's a facilities fund that just falls under the full St. Ambrose University Facilities Department, building maintenance, so.
Yes.
And probably the reason that you had to hound them to do it is no one really wants to drive that far out to do it normally. But they used to be really good with the cleaning crews getting out there, because it always seemed to be, when I go in there, the floors were.
There had been some cleaning done before I went out there,
And then they've got the electricity run to the new dome.
Yes.
And I think it's hooked up to the mountain, isn't it, John? Right?
The what now?
I think the electricity that's run from the roll-off to the new dome, I think that's hooked up to the mount.
Well, there's wire. Jim Baker knows more about it than anybody. Him and Dana were the ones inside working on that, and they were using the conduit that I put in there back in December, and so and John and Dana laid the conduit here in the last month, all the way from the Menke roll off down there. So it's really close to being done, or is done.
Yeah, I was out there a couple days ago, and we still need to hook the wiring up to the scope, the outlet by the scope itself, by the pier. I took the rope lights down there, the red rope lights, so I'll get those hooked up too.
And we've got to do some work on that dome roof, don't we? To make it turn and,
Yeah, but that shouldn't be that big a deal once we get it going.
okay. Yeah, I haven't contacted Ash yet, so maybe we'll make a list of what we need from Ash if we need something. And then we'll look at the classroom dome and see if there's anything we need there. And maybe we can make an order to Ash for parts or something if we need anything. You got that dome over at the classroom working good now, John, apparently. You don't even need that board from your picture that you showed me, so.
Also, since we're really sprucing up the outside, a couple of us have talked about this too, that there's a lot of what I say clutter that probably isn't used anymore. I mean, you don't want to get rid of anything that's functional or something that you could use, but that storage room in the classroom and the classroom, there's a lot of stuff there that I think should be gone through, and it would just be much simpler if we got rid of some of the clutter, either donate it or people want it or whatever. And like I said, I'm not saying to get rid of everything, but I'm sure that there's some clutter that wouldn't be missed at all and make things a lot more simpler in that classroom building.
I've gotten more than one complaint about the clutter in the storage room blocking the heating vents in there. You know, we really do need to clean that room out.
And even in the roll-off building, there might even be, I think we've taken a lot of stuff off the Menke roll-off and put it in the classroom, but I just, like I say, some of that stuff I think is really outdated. And I think there's a drum in the Menke roll-off for mirror grinding. I don't know if anybody's ever going to do that. You know, I mean, I don't want to be a spokesman and have a say in it, but I'm just, things, I've been working in my own garage the last 2 to 4 weeks, and the junk and clutter that I've gotten rid of, oh my God, it's so nice out there now. It's unbelievable. So just a thought, little house cleaning, I think would really spruce things up and maybe even make a little more room.
His suggestion, the next public event that weather will actually let us have, maybe some of us should go out there early and look through some of this stuff and decide what can go and what should stay.
Yeah.
So Travis, are you there yet? So I don't know.
Yes, sir.
This might be a little bit of a segue. Travis and I worked at Mid-American Energy. I retired out, and he's still over there running the show. He and I have been talking about the team at Mid-American doing some sort of volunteer work, and he was thinking about maybe something at Menke for us. And we had talked a little bit about him helping us organize the library out there, their group. So, and we kind of dropped it because he had to talk to his boss and figure out what they can and can't do. Yeah, do you think that any of this cleanup kind of work that Mike is talking about, getting rid of some stuff and maybe sorting through the library might be something that, because I don't know what the program is, and you probably learned a lot more since we've talked.
Yeah, so basically the process in short is we need to find something that the 9 of us can spend between 2 and 4 hours working on for the club, to benefit the club. And we need to write up a short dossier and send it to the Mid-American Board for approval. But once approved, then we can get it going. So I think a cleanup project might be all right. My concern is I would lean on your judgment, Struve. I don't know exactly what needs to go where and what needs to happen, but I can pass it up to Shanna and see if the team wants to do something like that. So be about 9 of us. We're looking between 2-3 hours of work.
So
maybe a little longer.
Along with that, maybe it'd be a number of us go over there and sort through stuff and just get it set aside to be packed up and hauled away, and that's where you, Mid-America Group would come in. And then maybe if we could buy some shelving, maybe that could be assembling shelving
Sure.
for our library, and we've got all kinds of sky and telescope magazines and books, and kind of cataloging that even, and getting them on the shelf in some kind of order that makes sense by year, by date, by title, by whatever. So I'm thinking those things might really help us out there and take care of what you're talking about, so.
Think they could
Yep.
frame up the new roll-off roof building?
Yeah.
3 hours.
Build a new building.
Get right on that.
So,
I don't know if you want a bunch of analysts building a roll-off building. It's
no, we do need
it's not
it done and then before the two galaxies collide, so maybe that's not a good idea.
yeah, exactly.
So along with that, you were talking about having like a team building event and a viewing session. So we thought maybe if we had that work done and then go over to the Legion for Burgers, and then that night the group can just stay there and look at telescopes and stuff. So
Now,
that's
yeah,
what-
yeah.
kind of maybe trying to organize something like that. So
It would definitely make it worth a trip because for some of the people in the group, that's more than a drive than they're normally willing to go. So I think if we are able to make it, a dinner and fun afterwards, that would be even more gooder.
yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I'll talk to the boss lady about it tomorrow so we can get something written up. I don't know what sort of time frame it takes to approve it, but I mean, Shannon well enough to know she gets things done quick, so
Well,
should hopefully
we're open all
soon.
year around, so
Yeah, but
in the classroom.
we got to get it done before year's end.
It
Yeah, I
hasn't
don't
been
know
done in all the
what-
past events.
As you said, I'm not sure about what the timing could be, but could it be done before the Eastern Iowa Star Party? And if that was the case, there might even be some setup that would be helpful in anticipation of the Eastern Iowa Star Party.
That's not a bad idea at all. Struve and I, we threw some dates together that we're talking about weekends in September. I don't know if that's going to be too soon for us to get the band together, so to speak, but the timing might work right on that. Could be a good time.
Yeah, we'll figure something out, but anyway, good, okay.
Sounds like some plans.
Treasurer's report?
Oh, is the treasurer's report ready yet?
Yeah,
Okay,
square away now.
all right.
Okay, so general fund stands at 2704.64. The event funds hasn't changed anything. That's 327.30. And the observatory relocation after the expenses for the foundation and some reimbursement to Mike for some material. We stand at 46,105.23 for a total of 49,137.17. One thing that I still haven't seen come through, Jim, is the check that we paid for the permits. I mean, I know we got the permits, but they haven't deposited that check. Maybe we got the permits for free. Can imagine the state wouldn't want their money.
For the Clinton County permit, that was $50. I got the permit.
I know, but I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that come through in any of the.
That's really weird.
It is.
That was months ago.
I know, and it's.
Do you think they figured that we were a 501(c) and decided not to do it or cash it? Do you think they'd let us know that, hey, we see you're a nonprofit, so here's your check back? But there's been nothing. I did not look at the mail today, but that's been, Mike, how long ago did I give you that thing? A couple months ago?
Yeah. You left it at my door.
Yeah,
It's been at least 2 months. Heck, I want to even think it was May or something.
Contact them and ask.
let the check expire and then charge them a fee if they want it back. We would get charged.
All right.
All I gotta say is I'm glad we're in Clinton County, because if it was Scott County, we'd have to probably jump through a lot more hoops.
So anyway, for the observatory relocation, we've got $46,000. That sounds like a good chunk of money, but Sam, we have to pay what? Is that another 8,000 roughly? For the next chunk of concrete work to do the floor.
What is it,
and the
7,200?
piers. How much?
7,200.
Okay, we already paid the 8,000, now it's about 72 for the next thing. So we're gonna lose 7 grand of that. Then, the telescope is 20-some thousand dollars that we're picking up. So we're getting down there in the teens, upper teens for money, and that's about half of what we need to build the building over there. So we're gonna continue doing these grants because we kind of get like about 12K at a time. So the reason we put that deadline of October 15th to get the contractor is we don't want to lose the scope. And there's chances are we're not going to build in the winter time anyway. So that gives us another round of grants. Plus these people have given us money and they're going to expect to see some stuff done. And we can't say, oh, you know, well, we gave you $12,000 twice, where's it? Oh, we got it in the bank. Can't do that either. Because chances of giving us more money is going to be slim to none. So we got to start using the thing to build our project as we designed it. So that's kind of how that's going. To use that scope out there, the question was, what are we going to do for amount? I volunteered to put my 10 micron mount out there so we can afford to get a good mount out there. And for people to use that, I would personally want to train them, use that mount. And then I'm okay with other people using it. But I want one-on-one training with people on that mount. So anyway, very easily by fall, or excuse me, by summer next year, we could have a building with 2 big telescopes in there ready to go. So Jim, what was that on that scope? Was that 23 we talked about? I never can remember that.
That's the number I remember.
Okay, I thought it was 2, but I didn't want to speak out of turn.
Is that the price for the telescope?
Yeah, I believe it was the price for the astrophysics.
Yeah, 23,000.
Okay.
I didn't hear you before, but what kind of telescope was it?
It's an astrophysics 175 millimeter diameter f8 objective. It's a triplet, and then it also has a reducer corrector with it that can make it operate at about f6, primarily for photographic use.
Where's this located at now?
My house.
Oh,
It's a Starfire, isn't it, Jim?
Yes.
Yeah. So I've got a 6-inch f9 Starfire that was the predecessor, much older, and the scope that Pat had is an f12 predecessor like mine is for that. But this is with the new glass, not with the Christensen triplet glass. So this is the current model.
Yeah, some of you have heard this story before, but I'll just repeat it as a reminder, and also for some of the people that haven't been around as long. Is a few years ago when we started to talk about trying to get money to move to Menke, to build some new buildings, and then to acquire a little more state-of-the-art equipment. I talked to the officers at the time and told them that I had this astrophysics refractor that was, arguably one of the nicest 7-inch refractors made in Illinois in Rockford by Roland Christian. He only one time had an opportunity to get that glass, so he doesn't know that he'd ever produce that telescope again. I bought one of those. I was on the list for about 10 years before he was finally able to make them. I bought the telescope. It's a valuable telescope, and it's pretty good sized. I don't have an observatory to put it in. And so to handle the telescope is a little big and heavy. I worry about damaging it, so I haven't used it very much. And anyway, a couple of years ago, I made the other thing is if any of you are very familiar with astrophysics telescopes, they are expensive. And because you have to wait so long to get them, they tend to go up in value. So, I've asked around a little bit, and the used market for that telescope is somewhere in the $25,000 to $30,000. I paid with the accessories $23,000. So I told the club I would sell it to them for what I had in it if they were interested, and if we could raise money to get it. One of the things that's in it for me, as opposed to me selling at a profit, would be the fact that the club would still own it. I could go use it. So, it's that's kind of the deal on that telescope.
We should make a motion. Does anyone want to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Do we have a second? All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Now, any opposed? Report is accepted.
So one other thing I had, and it's not an event yet, but you sent an email out to the board about a person asking for, what does she write here? She says that her name is Lori. I am with Our Lady of the Prairie Retreat Center in Wheatland, Iowa, and would like to talk to someone about doing a talk at the center or us sponsoring a night at your place. Please email me and we can discuss the details. Thank you. So I did email her tonight, and I haven't heard back yet, but I gave her some information about, yeah, we can do this. It'd probably be better if you came to our facility, because people can, look you here, and it's easier on us too. And I said that some things to remember is that, if you want to see nighttime objects, it's got to be dark out. You're not going to
I'll
see
take one.
galaxies during the day. If you want to see sun stuff, it's got to be during the
Yeah, I
day.
can come out and get it in a little bit, in a few minutes.
Okay. And then I mentioned it's weather pending. Clouds and rain do bad things. If there's a lot of rain, we can't even get into the facility. I asked her to let me know how many people we're going to visit, what their age group is, and if they have any special interest, so we can put together that type of program. So as soon as I hear back, I'll blast that out to the group and see if we can get that organized. I also gave her the dates that you saw of our events for the rest of the year, so that we've got a lot of stuff going, because of course with 2 public events a month, and then
Yes.
Eastern Iowa Star Party kind of fills up things fast.
So I have a suggestion. It seems that we're getting more and more of those. I think we need to make a template with the same information that you put on that today. How many people, ages, what do they want to do, and so on, so that rather than you having to type it every time, we just say, we've received your message. Could you please fill out this form?
Great idea. Maybe Travis could do something like that, so that, like this lady just free-formed it in there, that's fine. So.
I could certainly look at throwing a template on the website as a form, but I'm not experienced enough to know the information you're looking for. So if someone wants to type something up, I can look at fleshing it out.
You can forward that email that you replied, you can forward that email, that's perfect, I mean.
So what we can do at our next board meeting, we'll look at, I've got 2 emails that I kind of copy and paste, this one and another one. And Randy, I think you got one of them. I just kind of typed some stuff. Well, I'm saving these emails, like you said, if we get a similar request, hey, I'm interested in your club, then we can copy and paste it. We'll take those 2 at the next board meeting and we'll wordsmith them a little bit. Well, we don't really need to know a lot of information. Really, it's how many age group and if they've got a specific interest.
That's basically.
Yeah, because if it's 3 or 4 people.
And then the other stuff, you know, the other explanation about is weather dependent and blah, 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 we'll contact you if things change, right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty much the same every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see what I can do.
Okay.
Thanks, Travis.
Yep.
Right. Let's see, there was one other item I'm thinking. Oh, yes. So we have a few small telescopes at Menke that we've been talking about, like giveaways to interested parties, yeah. But you know that some of them need some fixing up. So that's something which we bring to the club. So anyone in the club might be interested in helping out with fixing up these telescopes.
I think we've got 2 refractors and really maybe 3 if we count the one that one yellow left that we can't find anymore. Joyce, yeah. 3 refractors and a Newtonian.
All small ones, like beginner size.
Yeah. And the thought is when we get the group like this big group of kids we had out there, if we see someone in particular that's really interested in asking good questions, we can say, hey, do you have a telescope at home? And they say no, give it to them and get it out. 3 of these, one of them was donated by one of the coin club members I belong to, and 2 were donated to the lady at that I went with that did my retirement fund through my Woodman. Her husband passed away and he had those and she gave them to us. So we've got those 3 that we really should get out, and they're really not worth a whole lot, and they be nothing that I would recommend to anybody. But if they don't have anything, we've got them sitting there. That's a perfect place to send them. So I don't think they're good enough to raffle, but the mounts need to be looked at, and you know, we got a lot of pieces there. Someone just that knows a little bit about some older EQ mounts and see if we can kind of make them functional. Something to look at the moon and, you know, maybe the planets. That is all we need to get going. So yeah, you can take it home and work on it. I'll go pick them up and drop them off at your home.
So I guess maybe Jeff, what you're asking is that if there's any club member that would like to take that on as a project, just to look them over and see what needs to be done to get them operational so we could give it to some young deserving person.
Exactly.
I took that 6-inch reflector home. I had one, that was my very first telescope when I was a teenager from Edmund Scientific. And I cleaned it up and worked on it a little bit. And I don't know, there are some things that were really screwed up with it and I didn't take it any farther, but I don't know what it needs, or the secondary mirror I think might have been screwed up in it or something, you know, it's just sat in the dirt or the dust.
And that's good too. If you take these things and find out they're not worth fixing, let's just get rid of them. We don't need them sitting there.
Exactly. If they're more work and more bother than what they're worth, you know, it's kind of senseless in a way.
Yeah. If we can't get them doing something for, you know, 20, 30 bucks, maybe just out the, you know, they can be road.
So anybody that's interested, please let one of the board members know, or if you want to take a look at them when you're out there the next time at Menke to see what you might be getting into. But yeah, go ahead and volunteer.
See, and even in the Menke classroom, it'd be nice that I think there's a whiteboard and maybe a chalkboard in there, and I don't even know if you can use those. You know, if you have a rain out night or a cloudy night, people are out there and somebody wants to use the chalkboard or the whiteboard, you could use that as the people are seated, 10 or 15 people are sat in the classroom. You could draw some diagrams of some star things and so forth, but I don't even know if you can even, if they're even able to use. I think they're just crammed with tables up to them and everything else.
Yes, and Jeff, you were mentioning that before we try using them again, we need to get some whiteboard cleaner.
I did spray it on the one and clean it a little bit, and it worked well, but I think that you need to spray it again. I think it actually treats it. So I left the bottle of that stuff there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I think I've got a second bottle at home if we run out of the one. It's not overly expensive. But, you know, I was thinking, those little telescopes, if they're not worth fixing, let's use them to hang signs or banners off of out on the field if we, you know, for something. Like visual field, imaging field for Eastern Iowa Star Party. I mean, if they're not good for anything else, we could, you know, or if we have an event at a library or something, stick an old telescope in the lobby way with a sign hanging off of it.
The sign's gonna glow in the dark or what?
Exactly, it could.
Use guides, goes.
Hey, Dr. Mitchell, I've got another item to talk about.
Yes.
Was that okay? Go ahead.
Was it go ahead? Go ahead. I thought you were going to ask something.
Yes, well, what I wanted to do is just at the last general meeting, I communicated that we were planning to have a trip to Burlington, Iowa's observatory. I think they call it the Whitty Observatory.
Yeah.
And it's a building that houses a classic Clark refractor, maybe 12 inches in diameter. And we thought that this fall with Saturn and Jupiter, those are primary targets for that type of telescope, that might be a good time to have a joint trip by the PAC and the QCAS. I want to say that I haven't made any more progress on that. We did get a response from them saying they'd be welcome, you know, we were welcome to come, and they thought we could handle, you know, as many people as we wanted to bring. They normally kind of limited to 20 people, but the fact that we'd be bringing people that were pretty knowledgeable about amateur astronomy, you know, they thought they could handle our group, and we just need to work out when would be a time that we want to go. And for myself, I've been pretty much consumed with this observatory relocation project and trying to think up places where we could ask for more money. So I haven't made any more progress on that. I think it, you know, it's still something that we can do. I don't know if anybody else wants to take that on. I know Alan and I had talked about it initially. You know, so I'll just throw that out there that we still intend to do it. No progress. It's now, yes, and so it's probably something that we would want to do in September, but maybe October is a better time. So what?
Pretty busy in September. So maybe
Yes.
October would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. How many would be interested in going?
Been down there before. We went down there one other time. It's quite a telescope they have. I think it's.
Was it worthwhile going, Rusty? I mean, it's an hour and a half trip down there probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we've got a couple of nice scopes that refractor's on. Unbelievable, it's just huge. It's like it's 20 foot long. This thing is just huge.
And so Alan, if you're there, if you want to make any comments, please do so.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going down there. I've looked through that scope several times in the past, and I've actually seen Pluto in that scope. it's a fantastic instrument. It's a 12-inch aperture. I'm not sure what the focal ratio is, but it's quite a large scope. And I actually took some pictures of Saturn through it last time we were down there. I don't remember what year it was. It was maybe 2018, something like that. We were down there, pack went down. And it's well worth it. They have other scopes down there too, and they've got a nice observing field. You could bring scopes down. I think last time Rusty went down, we did some video astronomy with our cameras, and then we looked through the scope that they had there in the observatory, and it's a good group. So I can recommend it. If you haven't been down there, it's definitely worth going, and it's not that far.
So if somebody wants to take that on as a kind of discuss with people and find out, okay, when's the date we should go? Do we want to, I guess it doesn't really need to be around a new moon, maybe even quarter moon phase in October, but just picking a date that works for our two clubs and then talking to them and setting something up and maybe having a cloud date too, but.
Anybody?
You're thinking sometime in September?
Well, with
We're
Easter,
kind of leaning toward more toward October.
October?
That would be my recommendation too.
I mean, PAC's got a pretty busy schedule in October here. Have you guys got QCAS got a good time when you'd like to target doing it? I'd say just set a time and we'll do it.
We'd have to go over our calendar for October.
Let me see if I can find this email. David Levy just sent me an email wanting to know if we could use pictures from the Eastern Iowa Star Party that he went to. We've got September 3rd, September 17th, September 19th, September 23rd through 25th are all booked.
Right.
We've got October 1st, 17th, and 22nd booked. The club meeting on the 17th, public night on the 22nd,
Okay.
public night on the 1st of October.
Yeah, the only bad day for me in October would be the 15th. Otherwise, I don't have anything else scheduled.
Yeah, I think October 15th is NIABE. That doesn't mean we can't do it then, but we got busy schedules, so I'd say if somebody desire to go down there.
Is November getting too late? I know the weather is getting iffy.
I would say if we're doing it in November, you want to do it in early November because, you never know about cloud cover, but my experience has been the second half of November on, you just starts to get greater likelihood of clouds.
We don't have anything until November 19th. So we're done between October 22nd and November 19th.
Okay.
What about November 5th?
Saturday.
November 5th is a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I assume more people would like to do it on a weekend.
And November 5th is Saturday.
How about that?
Yeah, anybody know how much moon is out on the 5th?
Just a second here.
And you know, for
Full
looking,
moon.
yeah, but looking through that scope, if you're going to primarily be looking at Jupiter and Saturn, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I mean,
Good point.
might be nice if it wasn't a full moon, but
That's
some
80%.
80%.
Yeah.
Okay.
80% before full or after full?
Okay, I just refreshed it. 94% waxing. 8:40 p.m.
Might get some good views of the moon too.
Now, that's pretty full to. The 19th is 18%. The 19th is,
November 19th.
yeah.
Yeah, everything's a trade-off, I guess, between those two. I'd
And
probably
we've got an
work
event on
November
November
5th.
19th, so,
Yeah, November 19th is Niabi again.
yeah.
How about the 12th?
12th is 81%.
Up to 29th of October.
So maybe we try for November 5th.
That's 16% crescent.
October 29th.
Yeah.
What's Pat got on October 29th?
Uh,
I don't think we had anything.
I don't think we have anything. That might work too.
That would be a good night for us, and it'd be a good night for the moon.
Well, how about the 29th? And, you know, if that doesn't work out weather-wise, maybe the 5th of November.
And that could be a good rain date thing.
Yeah.
October 29th, and if not, if the weather doesn't work, then November 5th. But the 29th would be awesome for the moon and everything, 26% full. That'd be great to see some stuff on the moon. You'd still have some shadows.
You gonna go too, Jeff?
Yeah, I would go.
Cool. Well, I guess,
Is that a
Yeah.
place that we would go and look through their scope and bring our gear and set up if we wanted?
We did.
yeah,
We went down with it.
So Jim, is that kind of what you had talked to them about too?
I did not talk to them about us bringing any equipment. That I talked to them about a tour of their facilities, looking through their telescope, and that, you know, a sharing of information, kind of talk about what our clubs have going on and maybe even what Wilton has going on. But I don't know, Alan, did you guys take any of your own telescopes down there? Were they opposed to that?
yes, we did. And they've got a nice big observing field there, so I don't remember if they had, Rusty, maybe you remember if they had power outlets. I'm not sure. I think they might have.
For some, yeah. Yeah, they've got a lot of pads too.
Yeah. It's really a great facility. And I don't know why they would object us bringing some scopes down. If you feel the need to do that or would want to do that, I'm sure you could.
My Revolution Imager down there, and those guys just started drooling all of that. Where'd you get that? Where can we find them? We gotta have them.
Yeah, they were pretty impressed with our video astronomy that we were doing down there. I think we actually took the first photograph through their refractor that had ever been taken when we were down there.
And Jim, on the Wilton thing, we probably want to see if they'd have us do a formal presentation on it. It'd probably be a 40-minute thing to their group.
They have a nice classroom area in the building there.
You know if they've got internet out there?
I'm not sure about that. They might.
We can ask them.
Go for it. You know, they're nice. They're a nice club. They're nice people.
Okay, we'll talk to them and see if we can firm that up.
Sounds good.
You won't be disappointed.
Sounds good. So I have no more listed agenda items, emails sent out. Is there any other business that we should bring up tonight?
Anybody gonna be game for going out Saturday if the weather's decent? The public night?
I will be.
Okay.
That's our night out, so I'll be out there.
That's right.
So our usual policy is that noon that day is the deadline for sending out emails, whether it's a go or no go for weather or anything else.
If it's a no-go, is there any club members that want to go out there anyway and sort through the stuff? Make some piles of keep and not keep stuff? So that when Mid-American gets over there, we can just say, this has got to go.
And if we do that, we go in the afternoon.
Yeah, we'll just go during the afternoon, yeah. Guess you're by yourself, Robert.
Too far away. I mean, time.
We're starting school next week.
Oh, boy. Oh, that's gonna be fun. No problem. I make. You look excited.
All this administrative stuff didn't get in the way. That would be fun.
So one other comment, I think they're supposed to pour the concrete this coming week.
I was wondering, is there a timeline for that?
I thought Jim said that the latest was the 20th, right?
Yeah, something like that. So I think they might.
It's gotta be this week.
So we'll want to go out there in mass on the 20th, if it's good weather, because we want to keep public from walking on the brand new concrete.
Just remind
Oh, I
us.
thought you wanted
Someone's
us
gotta
to
keep
go
buying
out
it.
there.
Yep.
Remind
We gotta keep
them
buying
that
from doing that. It's gonna.
we're not recreating man's Chinese theater here. This is.
Bummer.
Oh, right, Jeff Struve is here.
I'm gonna take the lump and make an imprint right in the concrete. So when that gets poured, by the way, then we're gonna try the Ferguson and Iowa Star Party to get Cecil's 30-inch job up on that big slab. And hopefully we'll get the trailer up there too, so that we can just drop it right on the concrete to use it.
Can do that. Maybe someday before the galaxies collide, I will look through that telescope.
Yeah, well, we'll be able to watch the galaxies.
Dream.
All right, is there any other items?
Anybody going to Village Inn after the meeting?
Yeah, so as new members, we often go to Village Inn for pie or breakfast or late dinner after.
Well,
right after.
Hey, when they close at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I
they-
thought they could close at 9. Meeting ran too long to do that. Now it's 9? Yeah, I think it's 9.
Why?
I don't know.
I hope they didn't change it again.
Yeah, last time we were there it was 10. Oh, 10. Yeah.
That was just last month. So.
Yeah.
Well, who would be up for that?
I would go, I'd go for that. I'd go for a peace pipe. Especially with just pipe.
Well, then make sure we do get there for closing. Does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jeff is on a fixed income now that he's retired.
Yeah, I've got a fixed income now. Actually, I've got a broke income now.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Screw you.
We're leaving.
Got quite the
Wow.
attitude.
We're out, baby.
Thanks, guys online. Thanks, Adrian. It was good to see you again.
Bye, everybody.
See y'all later.
Thanks for joining. Yep.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
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 So do you have that scope with you?
Which one?
The one you need to.
I do not. I actually took it out today because I took it out yesterday because I picked up that to the airport.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll get with you and let you check out.
I'll make something for you. Later.
Later.
So what do we?
Good night. Good night, Travis.
Well, I'll talk you over there, yeah.
All right.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure. So, yeah, Saturday, we don't get a lot of people up at the